Hello and welcome again to another video podcast of our MES tool release highlights of the spring 2022 releases. And we are going to look into the MES Quality Commander MQC. I have Björn here with me from the MQC team. Hello, Björn.
Hello, Jan.
So we're going to look into the latest release, which is a major version, the version 6.0, and there are quite some exciting new functionality that, Björn, I hope you're going to show us a little bit more today.
Yep.
And the first is the adaptation of multiple quality models. Björn, maybe you can explain us a little bit more what that is about.
I would also like to show you, therefore I will start sharing my MQC tool. So with the 6.0, we now support the import of multiple quality model configuration source files. That means, quality calculation is the heart of MQC. That means we have a quality model that is used or that defines how to handle the data that is imported into MQC and how to calculate quality out of this data. And what we are supporting now is that how to do this. So how to calculate quality can now be configured in separate sources. For instance, as we can see it here, in data source specific sources. Because of the fact that in big companies, it may be necessary to split this to be able to make easy adaptations on parts of the overall quality model. So what we can do here is we can have per data source a quality model that is imported and that is used then to compile the overall quality that is used later in MQC.
Okay, and what happens if you, for example, add a new data source because you add a new tool into your process?
Yeah, if later during your process it pops up that you have an additional tool used and you have new data that is automatically imported into MQC, you can easily adapt this overall quality model because MQC ships for each and every data source that we know and that we understand. It ships quality model suggestions that can be added to the already existing one, and that will be added then also to the overall quality model. So if you, for instance, have some polyspace reports afterwards, you can easily add the polyspace quality model configuration on top of the already existing things.
That's a great functionality. It makes it very easy to get started from the first point and have everything ready already shipped with MQC. That's great.
It's also easy then to reload or exchange parts of this by just using this dialog here. And especially in the case that at the very beginning of a project, you don't have a configured quality model, these suggestions that I have shown to you before are the ones that are chosen dynamically by MQC based on the imported data that you may have. So at the beginning, it's also possible to do nothing here. So MQC will automatically detect which data sources are imported and will compile the quality model out of this. That's an addition.
Speaking of import data, there's actually a lot of improvements with regard to the speed of the file import and the data transformations. Björn, maybe you can show us a little bit more. What does fast now actually mean?
Yeah, we have, with the 6.0, we have a really fast file import. That's one thing. And additionally, we also have a quite fast handling of the internal handling of the data. That means everything what is done by MQC, structuring of data, homogenizing data, normalization means quality calculation. All these internal things are really fast. That you can see here a diagram that shows you some use cases, some MQC internal use cases. For instance, we have a customer project, a quite huge customer project consisting of nearly 80 artifacts, means software artifacts, and 2,500 report files that were collected over a couple of weeks. And as you can see here, the initial import of all these reports for the 80 artifacts are done in 2 minutes. So this is really setting up the whole project in 2 minutes. Working then means filtering and redoing the data transformations if you, for instance, would like to change the granularity of the revisions, means if you would like to see the data in days and not in weeks or something like that, is really fast then. So we are talking here for 80 artifacts about just a couple of seconds.
Indeed, it looks very fast, and 80 artifacts and 2,500 reports sounds quite like a big project. But I guess that's not the biggest project you have seen with MQC so far, is it?
Yeah, it's we have the other example here on the bottom of this visualization. So this indeed is a project that goes over 2 years, and it's about more than 200 artifacts, and as far as I remember correctly, more than 60,000 report files. And even for such a huge project, the initial setup just takes 5 minutes. So just like a coffee break, you know. Go
you drink your coffee very fast, yeah.
Come on. Yeah, and also the internal handling of the data is quite fast, because also here we are just talking about we are in the range of a minute to really touch each and everything what was imported into MQC to change something like the revision granularity or switch on or off the propagation of the data.
That's really amazing how fast MQC is. And if you actually consider that as a quality manager, else you would have to review the data and order and transform the data from the reports and group them with all your artifacts to understand which of the artifacts perform how, and maybe even review the report data, which is practically impossible if you think about 60,000 reports. I think it's already impossible for 2,500, if you ask me. So MQC really gives a benefit here of automating the data import and analysis and transformation, and does it very fast, isn't it?
Definitely, yeah.
So talking about setting up projects and importing for the first time, there also are improvements on how to create a project in the beginning initially and set up the complete configuration. And there's a wizard that helps you to really set up everything in a very efficient way and very fast, as we've seen here now with the with what you just showed us here. But maybe quickly show us a little bit around the project creation wizard, Björn.
Yep, I will do so. And this is really the point where you set up a project from the very beginning. So you start MQC, and then you select to create a new project. And what you can do then is you have here a create project wizard where you can do each and every configuration as later in the tools. So you can select your data sources. You can already add a project structure if you have it at hand, the quality model we talked about before, and you can do all the settings related to revision granularity and what you can imagine. And you can do it once here at the very beginning, and if you then click on the create button, everything is done at once, and not you have to do it stepwise afterwards if your project has already been created. So this really improves setting up projects initially.
Great, that's a very great functionality, and it also lives from the updated features that you showed us before, the speed up as well as the quality model suggestions that come with MQC. So thank you very much for this insight, and to me, MQC made a very huge step now into to version 6.0. So of course, every of our customers who is interested in trying the tool is very welcome for an evaluation, and also they can download or get the latest version from contacting us or through the tool update newsletter. And Björn, only what's left is to say thank you very much for showing everything today and for joining me in the discussion, and hope to see you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.